What if I told you there's a place on Earth where turquoise oceans stretch beyond the horizon, where the sand is so white it glows under the moonlight? And yet, its most beautiful treasure isn't nature at all. What if the heart of this paradise isn't in the waters, the beaches, or the luxury resorts, but in the quiet echo of the call to prayer, drifting gently through a tropical breeze? Welcome to the Maldives. In the heart of the Indian Ocean lies a string of islands so small they almost vanish from satellite view. Scattered like pearls across the sea, the Maldives consists of 1,192 coral islands grouped into 26 atolls. But for all their smallness in size, their impact, spiritually and historically, is enormous. Today, the Maldives stands out on the world map for two distinct reasons. It is one of the most luxurious tourist destinations on Earth, and it is the only country in the world with a population that is almost entirely Muslim, over 520,000 people, nearly 100% of whom identify as followers of Islam. But this didn't happen overnight. Rewind the clock over 900 years, and the Maldives looked very different. Ancient Buddhist temples dotted the islands. The people practiced a faith deeply rooted in South Asian traditions. Yet all of that would change with the arrival of a traveler, a man whose name is whispered in history with reverence. His name? Abu al-Barakat al-Barbari, a wise and humble Islamic scholar, believed by many to be from North Africa, though others claim origins in Persia or even the Arabian Peninsula. What's not debated, however, is his impact. Legend tells us that it wasn't just his knowledge of the Quran or his gentle speech that won over the hearts of Maldivians. It was a night, a terrifying night, a curse, a demon, and a miracle. The legend continues with a chilling tale passed down through generations of the demon Ranamari, a monstrous sea spirit believed to demand monthly sacrifices of young virgin girls. The islanders lived in fear, submitting to this gruesome ritual to protect their families and livelihoods. Each month, a girl was chosen by lot, locked inside a temple by the sea, and by morning, she would disappear without a trace, leaving behind only her cries and the crashing of waves. It was during this time of fear and darkness that Abu al-Barakat al-Barbari arrived in the Maldives. He was not a warrior, nor did he come with an army. He came with the Quran. Upon hearing the tragic tale of the sacrifices, he volunteered to enter the temple in place of the chosen girl. That night, while the waves pounded the shore and the wind howled like a cry from the deep, he sat alone inside the temple reciting the words of Allah. Surah after surah echoed within the stone walls, turning a place of death into a sanctuary of divine remembrance. By dawn, the islanders, expecting to find tragedy, were stunned. Abu al-Barakat walked out of the temple unharmed. The demon never returned. The people were speechless. News of the miracle reached the king, who summoned the scholar to his court. There, Abu al-Barakat explained the power of Tawheed, the belief in one God, and recited the Shahada. The king, deeply moved, embraced Islam and publicly declared his conversion. This moment marked the beginning of a new era for the Maldives. The royal court adopted Islamic law. Idols were removed from temples. Mosques began to rise from the same foundations once used for Buddhist worship. And one by one, the people followed. It was not forced. There was no coercion. The transition was spiritual, heartfelt, and driven by awe at the divine protection they had witnessed. The Maldives shifted almost overnight from a land of fearful rituals to a nation united by the call of La ilaha illa Allah. Abu al-Barakat, once a stranger, became a national hero, a man whose faith conquered fear and whose words defeated a centuries-old myth. His legacy still echoes through the islands today, not just in stories and folklore, but in the very foundations of Maldivian identity. The story goes that the Maldives, during the 12th century, was plagued by a dark presence from the sea. Every month, the islanders were forced to sacrifice a virgin girl to a sea demon named Ranamari. She would be locked inside a temple on the beach. By morning, she would be gone. The fear was so deep, so entrenched, that no one dared to question it. Until one night, Abu al-Barakat volunteered. He replaced the young girl and sat alone in the temple all night, reciting verses from the Quran. By morning, the temple was untouched. The scholar was alive, and the demon never returned again. The king, astonished, summoned Abu al-Barakat and asked for an explanation. The scholar spoke of one God, Allah, who protects those who believe. He recited the Shahada. The king was moved. Days later, he embraced Islam, and the Maldives changed forever. Mosques began to rise, idols were torn down, the people followed their king. Islam wasn't forced, it was welcomed. Not through war, but through wisdom, not by sword, but by soul. This moment became the defining shift in the history of the Maldives. The Buddhist past slowly faded, leaving behind a nation reborn in monotheism. And even now, centuries later, the Maldives hasn't turned back. Walk through the narrow streets of Male, the capital city, and you'll find more than just mopeds and market stalls. You'll find the beating heart of a Muslim society. Mosques stand proudly on nearly every street corner. The Hukuru Miski, or Friday Mosque, built in 1656, stands as one of the oldest and most beautiful Islamic structures in the region, crafted from coral stone, inscribed with Arabic calligraphy, and echoing with history. The call to prayer rings 5 times a day. Businesses pause, fishermen stop reeling in their nets, schoolchildren lower their voices. It's a country where prayer isn't a task, it's a rhythm of life. But Islam in the Maldives isn't just about rituals, it's woven into culture, manners, hospitality and governance. From how people greet each other, to how they conduct business, to how they marry and raise their children, the Quran is more than a book, it's a blueprint. Even the language, Divehi, is speckled with Arabic phrases. Even the calendar follows the Islamic lunar system, and even the sea, so full of beauty, is also full of barakah. Now imagine this. You're staying in a private villa, hovering above crystal waters. Below you, stingrays glide through the sea. Above you, stars explode in silence. But then, you hear the adhan, the call to prayer, gentle, soothing. It blends with the waves. And in that moment, you realize, this is no ordinary vacation. In the Maldives, luxury meets spirituality. Many high-end resorts have private prayer rooms, Qibla directions, and even Islamic libraries. Halal dining isn't a rare feature, it's the standard. Fresh seafood, tropical fruits, and traditional Maldivian curries are served with complete halal assurance. For Muslim travelers, it means freedom. No worry about hidden ingredients. No need to explain. Here, the world caters to your values. And for non-Muslim visitors, the atmosphere is respectful, serene, and enriching. Religion isn't imposed, but it is present, quietly guiding the flow of life. In the West, a mosque might be a single building on a city block. But in the Maldives, the masjid is not just a house of prayer, it's a community anchor, a heartbeat on every island. Even the smallest inhabited island, no matter how remote, has a mosque. Some islands with only a few hundred people have 2 or 3. Children memorize Quran in shaded courtyards. Elders gather for evening prayers. Travelers find peace and shade during scorching afternoons. Take the island of Hinavaru, for example. It's far from the spotlight of tourism, yet its mosque is grand, clean and vibrant with daily worship. On Fridays, you'll see long lines of men walking quietly in their best clothes, the sound of footsteps matching the distant rhythm of waves. Education in the Maldives is deeply tied to religion. Children grow up not only learning reading, writing and mathematics, but also the stories of the prophets, the rules of prayer, the beauty of the Arabic language, and the morals of Islamic life. Many schools offer both secular and religious tracks, and Quran memorization is a respected goal. Some teens dedicate entire years to become Hafiz, but Islamic learning isn't just for children. Across the islands, study circles, halakas, and community classes are common. Women, especially, play a strong role in religious education. In quiet classrooms tucked behind mosques, groups of women gather to study tafsir, hadith, and fiqh. They wear flowing hijabs, speak softly, and balance their roles as mothers, daughters, and scholars. Ramadan transforms the Maldives into something even more beautiful. The pace of life slows down. The streets of Male, usually busy with motorbikes and commerce, become calm in the late afternoon. Families prepare traditional iftar dishes, spicy tuna samosas, coconut cakes, and fresh juices made from hibiscus or watermelon. The call to Maghrib fills the air. Across the islands, masjids overflow with worshippers performing Taraweeh. Some people sail to neighboring islands just to pray in a different mosque. And in the last 10 nights, something special happens. Qiyam al-Layl stretches deep into the early morning. Beaches shimmer with lamplight. Men and women gather separately under stars, praying as waves crash softly nearby. It's as if the entire country becomes a single open-air masjid. Islamic architecture in the Maldives is unique. Coral stone carvings are a national treasure. In the past, mosques were made entirely from coral rock, chiseled and fitted together without cement. Take the Friday Mosque in Mail, built in the 17th century. The ceiling resembles the ribs of a ship, a nod to the nation's maritime soul. Even modern Islamic buildings reflect this heritage with elegant domes, modest minarets, and predominant white tones that symbolize purity and light. Islamic art is present in calligraphy scrolls, hand-woven mats, and the very rhythm of Maldivian design. The Maldives has quietly produced remarkable scholars like Sheikh Ibrahim Shihab and Sheikh Mohammed Rashid. These scholars were not only imams, but also thinkers and legal minds who helped shape the Sharia-based framework of the nation. Issues of marriage, inheritance, and morality are governed through Islamic law, yet adapted for a modern world. Their influence continues to guide daily life across the islands. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Maldives is how it maintains this deeply Islamic identity while being a hotspot for global tourism. The government has created clear boundaries. Most resort islands operate separately from local communities. This protects the religious life of the people while allowing economic growth. Yet Islam is still visible in the tourism sector. Halal food, prayer rooms, and even modest swimwear options are available in many resorts. The Maldives is becoming a leading destination for halal tourism, attracting Muslims from around the world. And interestingly, even non-Muslim tourists often leave with deeper spiritual reflections. Yet the harmony between faith and governance hasn't always been perfect. Over the years, political leaders in the Maldives have faced pressure to balance Islamic identity with modern development, and at times, foreign influence. Some have criticized past governments for allowing too much westernization through tourism. Others argue that religious scholars are not given enough influence in shaping public policy. There have been debates about secular education versus Islamic schooling, alcohol laws, even Friday prayer attendance. While the Constitution declares Islam as the state religion and requires all citizens to be Muslim, international human rights groups have challenged these policies, calling them restrictive. But for many Maldivians, preserving Islam isn't about restriction, it's about identity. To them, Islam is not a layer added to life, it is the sea in which all aspects of life swim. In a world rapidly changing, the Maldives remains a place where Islam is not just practiced, but cherished.